In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto. Second live stream of the day for the Debate Crypto crew. DCA fam, all the crypto fam, how is everyone? I hope you guys are well. We're doing a little bit of Friday night lights, we'll call it tonight. We are we're jumping on this evening. We did a live stream earlier today that went fantastic. We were like, you know what? We had a little bit extra time today. Let's do a little more digging. Let's dig into what's going on in the crypto space, and let's do an episode tonight. So we're really happy you're here. If you are in the live chat, or if you're looking to get any questions answered, if you're in TikTok, head on over to YouTube. That's where we'll be answering questions. And if you're in the YouTube live chat, make sure that you X out of the live chat. It takes 2 seconds. Smash a like for us. That is literally the only way YouTube really knows, besides the amount of time that you spend watching, that you guys actually like us. Or if you hate us, hey, just go ahead and smash a little negativity down, as a little downstroke, a little thumbs down. But yeah, so reminder real quick before we get started. $500, December 23rd. We are giving away $500. All you have to do is be subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. And if you haven't hit a like, again, hit the likes. We appreciate it. Miguel, kick us off, bro. What is on the podium this evening?
Bro, so the insanity of the metaverse has led to 2 plot sales, one in Decentraland, one in Axie Infinity, to be both sold individually for over $2 million each. Historical prices for plots of digital land.
I have questions, but we'll get into that.
Yeah. And then after that, we got India creating all types of confusion. Maybe that's why we have Black Friday deals today. I doubt it, but we got India.
India is confusing everything.
India's, I mean, they're very smart people, but they just cannot get this cryptocurrency thing under the wraps. They flip-flop more than the pancakes at IHOP, dude. And they're coming with this whole banned again after saying that they weren't gonna ban it. Now they're banning it again. So we're gonna figure that out. Yeah. And finally, we're gonna have a weekly wrap-up of everything that's happened this week in the cryptocurrency markets.
Fantastic. I am super excited to get into it. Let's just get right into it, Miguel. So Axie Infinity, right? Land plot sells for record $2.48 million. It says with a piece of land in Axie Infinity selling for a record-breaking $2.48 million, Grayscale has valued the wider metaverse at $1 trillion. This is an extremely rare piece of virtual land in the crypto game. Axie Infinity sold yesterday for 550 ETH yesterday, or more than 2.48 million at today's prices. Literally, Miguel, it sold for more ETH than I even have. I'm kind of upset about that. But in any event,
they sold for a lot of ETH, that more than the majority of people have.
Ooh. The Genesis plot is one of the rarest in the game, with just 220 in existence. Now, we're not going to dive into all of the little ins and outs of this, but ultimately Axie Infinity has turned into this almost like a cult classic game at this point. And when I say cult classic, I'm more talking about like on the front. It's turned into that very quickly. It's turned into like the game to play. And there's people actually making money. We were talking about this on Around the Blockchain the other day. There's actually people making money, like making their income from Axie Infinity. Now, albeit we're talking about countries that the minimum wage is $2.50 per month, but I digress. So my question, Miguel,
I mean, even with that, right? They're making about $2,000 a month. That's half of a regular full-time salary in the United States. Imagine just playing a video game.
They're still definitely making money. So Miguel, this is total speculation, right? And again, guys, when we talk about things on the streams that might be a little bit out in left field, right field, this is Debate Crypto. We are ultimately digging in and debating and actually thinking through what's going on in these scenarios and saying, hey, listen, maybe all is not as it seems. And we like to debate or at least discuss some of these topics. So my question to you, Miguel, is how does a piece of land in this video game sell for 2.48 million, or better yet, what would be a scenario in which you could see a plot of land selling for $2.5 million?
Yeah, so initially in my mind, and maybe it's just because I'm wired a little differently, I think
That's a fact.
someone's doing something. Someone's doing something sketchy here, right? We know people are laundering money with NFTs. We know people are doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and it's not just a crypto thing. That is a every sector in the world thing, right? We saw what what was it? JP Morgan was doing with the silver
Yeah.
futures and whatever it was, the precious metals futures. Made like $60 billion, 30 to 60 billion, whatever. So
Yeah.
that kind of stuff happens everywhere. But when I see a $2.4 million sale of a digital piece of land, I'm not saying digital land isn't valuable and it doesn't have a future, but I don't think we're there just yet to be giving it this crazy value. So I think, in my mind, somebody owned this piece of land, had some dirty cash on the side, and said, I'm going to put this up out with this crazy price point, and then I'm going to buy it again from myself with my dirty crypto money that I made with some illegal activities, and then I'm gonna buy it and say, "Whoa, I made $2.4 million, selling a digital piece of land."
Yeah.
And they get to wash that money and
You know,
declare it in the taxes.
so I agree with you from a standpoint that would absolutely be a feasible way to do what you're talking about. The problem that I have with that idea is that the narrative is so heavy in crypto that we're all criminals, right? The narrative from the banks, the narrative from the SEC, the narrative from all regulatory bodies is so centered on the fact that they can't get off the idea that the dark web centered around Bitcoin payments, right? Back in the day. And they can't get off that. So now what they've effectively done is push this narrative onto the crypto space that says, if you're in crypto, you are a criminal or are trying to engage in criminal activity. So the thing that I don't like about the idea of what you're saying, Miguel, is that it validates that narrative. It says, hey, look, this is happening. Because ultimately, though I can get on board with you about it, I just hate the fact that some of these fools are going to look really correct, especially when we get things like a piece of digital land. And this isn't the only one. The next one that I'm going to flip over to is the same. Actually, hold on. Let me say one more thing about this. It says the $1 trillion metaverse. NFT powered games like Axie Infinity are widely regarded as pioneers of the metaverse, a persistent digital environment where users between virtual worlds interacting with others through customizable avatars. NFTs are seen as a crucial building block in the metaverse as they allow users to take ownership of virtual items such as plots of land, avatars, and artifacts, and will eventually enable them to move those items between different virtual worlds. So check this out. Let me switch over here. This is not the only place this is happening, right? This is not just happening on Axie, but drum roll, please. Decentraland virtual land plot sells for a record $2.43 million. The virtual real estate was purchased by a metaverse group and will be used to host fashion shows and commerce in Decentraland's 3D world. A plot of virtual real estate in crypto-powered metaverse Decentraland has sold for a record $2.43 million in cryptocurrency, more than double the previous record of $913,000. The land was sold to NFT-based virtual real estate company Metaverse Group for 618,000 mana, the native cryptocurrency of Decentraland, according to a statement by Metaverse Group parent company Tokens.com. Per the statement, the virtual land will be developed to facilitate fashion shows and commerce within the exploding digital fashion industry, with Metaverse Group planning partnerships with several existing fashion brands to build out their metaverse e-commerce offerings. Now, on this one, I absolutely can see it. I can see a couple things here. I can see crypto is viewed, and this is kind of the funny thing with digital land. Crypto is basically viewed as piece of land as an asset right now, right? You pay capital gains on crypto. So I think it's interesting that they are purchasing digital land and basically adding this land to a business balance sheet, to a business portfolio. I wonder what the tax implications can be depending on how they're and this is a much deeper thought, but I'm wondering if their accountant said, "Hey, look, you buy this digital land, we file things in this manner, we're able to move this here, we're going to be operating a business out of there. We can pay all of our employees working in that digital land." And I'm telling you, the tax laws are written the way that they are for a reason. They are designed to be able to be taken advantage of. It's just most people don't understand them well enough to do so. And one thing I have learned from being a business owner and having a good accountant is that there's a lot of things that you can do to really spice up, right? To really change what your, taxable, income looks like, right? And it makes me wonder on this one, it says, hey, this is a huge company that's doing this. They will monetize this. And at the end of the day, it's probably a drop in the bucket compared to what they will do long term. But I really do question, like, is this a tax play? We're getting towards the end of the year, 2.43 million on a piece of digital land. I don't know. Just kind of begs the question, what are they doing with it?
Yeah, with this one is definitely a bigger ploy, right? With companies and tax purposes, marketing spend, business expenses, yada yada yada, and they will can eventually make something to remake money off of that. But with the Axie Infinity one, that seems to just be a random sale between random people. How would that person truly get that $2.4 million back or make profit on that? Right? He's gonna have to try to sell that land again for 2.5 or 2 point whatever millions of dollars to make at least a little skim of profit on it.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're just not there when it comes to that level, especially when you know that there's a bear market coming. These prices will drop in the digital land.
That's a fact.
All this hype behind the metaverse will definitely cool off for a very long time again. So somebody here in the comments said, there are people that will take advantage of every system. It doesn't mean that the system is bad. 100% agree, Larry. 100% agree. I'm not saying that crypto is bad. And like to your point earlier, Nick, where you're saying you don't want to put the narrative that everybody in crypto are criminals. No,
Yeah.
everybody in crypto are definitely not criminals. But are there criminals in crypto? 100%, right? Because criminals that exist anywhere will use anything to their advantage to continue their life of crime. So if they have the criminals that existed in the regular world doing whatever type of illicit activities now find crypto and say, wait a minute, we can do what with NFTs? How?
Yeah.
Oh, I want a piece of that. Let's get wrapped up in that game and move our move off the streets and into the digital world where we're less likely to get caught. So
Yeah. No, I'm with you. There is a lot of question marks as we move into this, and the thing is, we're moving into a new age. We're moving into. I mean, think about it. If you started telling people years ago, like 5 years ago, even that, I mean, even less than that, but we'll use five. If you told somebody 5 years ago that you were going to be buying digital real estate, that you were about to be, purchasing digital real estate as a future investment, they would have laughed you out of the room. And now
for
think about
$2.4
this.
million.
Think about, well, no, not even that, bro. I could have told somebody I was buying digital real estate for $1,000, for $2.4 thousand, and they would have said, "Wow, you just wasted your money." Right? When if we would have been able to do this 5 years ago, which, side note, I don't think we would have been able to at that point, but I digress. It would have been probably one of the best investments you could have ever made. And I will say this: we don't know which of these metaverse projects are going to succeed. Okay. But we do know that some of them are. And one of the huge things, just like in real life, that's going to do very well is real estate. And in some of these games that are coming out, you have the ability to gamify your staking. Miguel, you and I were talking about a game. I'm not going to talk about it right now because it's something that we're studying into and looking into. Um, But we were looking into buying some plots of land in a game that we're going to talk to our DCA fam about here soon. And part of the purchase of that land, depending on where you bought it, you had the ability to dig up different amounts of rare NFTs on your property. You also had the ability, if you bought in a certain area, to farm that area for native tokens because you were a farmer at that point. So ultimately, they're gamifying daily income revenue streams. And I think it's just crazy interesting. It's a very wild, Miguel, I don't know how your wife is about this, but whenever I try, so I've given up on trying to like talk to my wife about this, right? Because it's kind of like she just can't really, it's not that she couldn't grasp it. It's just that I think she just doesn't care, right? She's super smart. I know she could grasp it, but I kind of got to step back for a second and like hear myself. It's like hearing myself from 1,000 feet. And I wonder how crazy I sound talking at the Thanksgiving, table yesterday about NFTs that we just bought, and oh, how much you spend on it? What are they? $50, and I like about spit up my mashed potatoes because the gas fee was more than $50. You know what I mean? And so I guess the point of what I'm getting at is that this is a whole new beast, and we don't know where this is headed. But what we do know is there's a number of these that are going to succeed, and where there is projects that are going to succeed, there is going to be massive financial opportunities, and that's why we're really digging in and trying to figure out where those opportunities we think we have the best chance of getting and capital.
I completely agree. Right, buying real estate, digital real estate in a metaverse with potential, definitely is a huge flip of the coin,
Yeah.
but could make you massive money because some of these people were able to buy some of this metaverse land for real cheap in the bear market, and now selling it for close to millions of dollars, whatever, is a huge flip of money. But it is what it is. I wouldn't recommend trying to do that right now. Digital land right now is super expensive.
Yeah.
But in the bear market, definitely keep an eye on the metaverse, guys. Everybody wants to buy what is latest being spoken about, and that's the biggest problem, right? We've referred to this with Cardano. Nobody wants Cardano right now because everybody is shitting on it. I bet you money. I said it on TikTok earlier today on my live. I will bet you my bottom dollar that Cardano breaks $3 again. And when it does, everyone's going to be applauding Cardano. Oh my God. How high is Cardano going to go? How much more Cardano should I buy? Should I be holding Cardano throughout the entire bear market? Should I just never sell it? And it's like, you guys chase green candles. You guys chase pump. So when something is being pumped, you chase it. When something is getting fudded on, you panic sell it and you say, oh my God, this is terrible. But you don't actually figure it out for yourselves. You're always at the mercy of content creators telling you what to do and what not to do. So the same thing will happen with the metaverse. Don't be putting everything into the metaverse right now. Wait for a better opportunity to present itself and then take advantage of it. There's a lot of more metaverses coming out. Every day we speak, there's a new metaverse coming out, some type of land, some type of NFT strategy. So just keep an eye out for better opportunities.
Yeah, and speaking of better opportunities, there's a lot going on right now. We just heard, a new variant or whatever. We're not going to get into that because YouTube's going to kick us for talking about it. We can only talk about certain things. You know what I mean? So, at any event, there's going to be other opportunities, not just the upcoming bear market because of that, but because of geopolitical things that are going on. We're going to have a lot of opportunities upcoming. And speaking of geopolitical, let's jump into this next one, right? We have proposed legislation to prohibit private cryptocurrencies in India sparks confusion. India is in the spotlight again as Prime Minister Narendra, I don't know if that's how you say his name, but I think it's Narendra Modi, government said on Tuesday that it was preparing to introduce a bill prohibiting, quote, all private cryptocurrencies in the country. Included in the legislative agenda for the winter session beginning on November 29th, the Cryptocurrency and Regulation of Official Digital Currency Bill 2021 is also seeking to establish a framework for a central bank digital currency, which could be issued by the Reserve Bank of India. Though the bill includes banning all private cryptocurrencies, it could still allow for the promotion of underlying blockchain technology and its potential application. The bill was first proposed in January this year, and it appears to be unchanged since then. In response to the move, Indian crypto businesses have formed associations to lobby the government for a regulatory framework that would strike the right balance between the state and the crypto industry. However, the devil's in the language, which leaves plenty of room for interpretation. Here it is, right here. It's not exactly clear, for example, what the bill implies with the terminology of private cryptocurrencies. Private could refer to coins like Monero, Dash, Zcash, which are capable of obfuscating transaction information to offer privacy to users. On the other hand, stablecoins like Tether and USDC could be considered private cryptocurrencies since they're issued by privately owned companies, Tether Inc. and Circle, respectively. Miguel, we see this. We see exactly this in all over the world. This is happening in our country right now too. The language is written so broad, and I think there's two reasons for it. One is exactly what this article is talking about, creating confusion. It's just like the news media that we talk about. Part of the deal here is to create confusion, because if we keep people on their toes enough and confused enough, we don't know right from wrong, from true, from false, and it just keeps you just like not really believing much of anything. And that could be beneficial for people on the other end of things that are trying to get their footing as it relates to regulation. The second part of that is just the absolute domination and control of, if behind the scenes what actually is being said and how this is actually going to play out, if you're, part of these regulating bodies. So I'll use an example. Like it's don't let anybody tell you that Nancy Pelosi is the best stock trader on planet Earth. She's not. She talked to people who told her and her husband what was going on.
You're telling me that she hasn't been a trader all her life?
Yeah,
And has been
right.
reading the
Mm-hmm.
charts?
Yeah, exactly.
You're telling me that.
And what I am telling you is that it's freaking disgusting that her and her husband are not in prison. Anyone else even approached approached an iota of what they've done, they would be in prison. So what I'm getting at is the other part of this is, if you know what's actually going to be regulated, if you know how it's actually going to be interpreted, guess what you can do? You can be Jamie Dimon and you can FUD the heck out of the market. You can tell everybody how awful, how cryptocurrency doesn't have any intrinsic value and you should stay away from it. And then these big businessmen tell you to stay away. They keep the price pressed down. And then what are they doing? They are buying like crazy. It's disgusting. We've talked about it a number of times, and it makes me wonder, is India getting on board with and doing the same exact thing? Because I don't see why not.
I completely agree. I believe the same exact thing, right? India has always been the flip flopper, right? More than China has. China has banned Bitcoin every year, right? But it's kind of like a 1 year event. They ban it, they stop talking about it, they move on. China, literally every 4 months, they're in the news talking about, oh, we're getting Bitcoin. No, we're banning Bitcoin. We're getting whatever other coin. No, we're not. We're banning that other coin now. We're getting Coinbase. No, we're banning Coinbase. We're doing this. We're doing that. They're always flipping back and forth. And then right in this article, right, they're not even banning crypto, but everyone said, oh, India's banning crypto again. That's all the content creators on TikTok were talking about. When you look at it, they're not banning crypto. They're focusing on private blockchains.
Yeah.
So it's like, where is the, so much for not being manipulated, not a FUD campaign, right? That's exactly what they tried doing. Same way they did with the Bitcoin energy thing. Oh, Bitcoin is eating up all the energy. We need to, just stop using Bitcoin, and not the world is going to blow up. It's gonna blow up.
Yeah.
So it's like these FUD campaigns get created out of thin air. They just get thrown together, and then somebody picks it up, creates content off of it, create some hype for themselves. Then a million people saw it, and then a million people are panicking, saying, "Oh snap, that's it, it's all over again." And
Yep.
it just doesn't work that way, guys.
Yeah.
Read past the headlines. Read past the headlines, and don't be at the mercy of these content creators.
That's exactly what we do here at Debate Crypto, guys. We read past the headlines. If you are looking to dive deeper in on more of a personal level with Miguel and I, we have debatecrypto.academy. You can always check us out there. We are ultimately educating so that you can, be better prepared for what's coming. Some of the things that get tossed out here, Bart said, China and India are both scams. Ultimately, what Bart is saying is that what they are doing is effectively trying to scam their own people so that they can position themselves to be able to be in a better situation on the outset, right?
Oh,
When all of
100%.
this clears, they want to be up here and they want to have their people all down here, and they'll always have that they always position it as, we are here trying to protect you. And then the moment when they come out on top and you come out on bottom, it is, hey, listen, we understand that it looks this way, but that's not at all what it was for. We were totally trying to take you and basically take that risk. It was too risky for you. We, however, were involved in it because we could take on some of that risk. And, we ultimately did what was best for you. And it's like, get the heck out of here. You're not
Yeah,
doing
and why
anything.
why is it they can take all that risk? Oh, that's right. Because if they lose the money, they can just print more money,
Print more, burr.
right? And they're not playing with their own money. They're playing with your money that you have in the banks.
That's right.
And if they lose it, just whoopsie, I'm sorry.
That's right.
Bail
That's
out,
right.
please.
Yep.
And there you go. That's why they can take the risk on. Don't do it. Not you. No, no, no. But they don't want you to take the risk. But if
Yep.
you do and you make money, pay up your taxes.
Yep. That is an
Not
absolute
to do
fact.
it because it was too risky. Oh, but you succeeded. Oh, if you succeeded, pay up, buddy.
You did well. Time to pay the piper. 100%.
Yep.
Fraser, before we switch into this last, we're going to do the wrap up, the week in review, essentially here in just a second, kind of going over the market review. So stick around for that, guys. If you are in the live chat and you have not yet X'd out and hit the like, please hit a like. Literally X out of the live chat for 2 seconds, hit a like, jump right back in. But I wanted to touch on Fraser Robertson said, is putting smaller amounts in multiple cryptos a good idea in case one hits? So let me
We were
say this,
just talking
Fraser.
about this today.
Yeah, so there is a point at which you can absolutely be over diversified where you've taken and let's just use an easy number. Let's say you've got 10 grand and you've got the option of having 10 grand in 20 different projects, right? Where you've got $500 in each of them, right? Or you've got, 10 grand amongst 4 projects. There is a balance there, and there is the balance really, and the best way I can answer this is the balance really plays off of what your game plan is. What is your strategy? What kind of risk tolerance do you have? Statistically, yes, having exposure to some of these smaller alts that ultimately that you've looked into, that you are educated on, that you do at least understand somewhat. Yes, the risk reward on some of these smaller alts, there's a lot of reward, but there's a lot of risk. So you have to come up with, how much risk tolerance do I want? And long term, is this what am I trying to achieve here? Or am I trying to take profits on a regular basis? There's just a lot of question marks there. Miguel, do you have a better way to answer that? I mean, ultimately, I think it depends on totally what your game plan is. You can do it
Yes.
too much. You can do too little. You need to find that happy medium, I'd say.
Exactly. Everyone's game plan is different. You need to understand what makes you feel comfortable with your money. So
Yeah.
if you want to diversify $1,000 into 10 different projects, or you want to diversify $1,000 into 2 projects, right?
Yeah.
All the risk is different. You can do 2 projects that are solid with the least amount of risk, or you can do 10 projects with extremely high risk,
Yep.
extremely high reward, right? So it all depends what feels most comfortable for you. So this is a bit of a loaded question that
Yeah.
can be broken up into multiple follow-up questions to get down to a root, clear, concise answer. This is something more of an answer that we kind of target and focus on in Debate Crypto Academy.
Yeah, I was literally going to say
One
the
of our
exact same thing.
members,
Yeah.
when one of our members come to us and ask us a question like this, we have time to break down the question and have an in-depth chat with them about what it is that they're trying to do and get a better understanding of things.
Yeah, definitely. Totally. That is absolutely what we are doing. We got anything else in the chat? Let me see here.
We did have one. Says Mr. M says, can Meta Hero hit $1 trillion market cap?
Let me pull it up real quick while you're
Yeah.
Miguel,
So
you can respond to that.
meanwhile, I shit on it. So can it hit $1 trillion? Yes, anything can hit $1 trillion, right? But will it? Most likely not. Bitcoin just got to $1 trillion this bull run, right? No other asset has gotten to $1 trillion just yet. So Meta Hero, which just showed up yesterday with a contraption that looks like it belongs in a sci-fi movie, beam me up, Scotty, that everyone is saying it's the next Messiah in the metaverse. Guys, let's relax. This thing is a cool idea. They have a cool concept. It's still in the proof of concept stage.
Yeah.
The metaverse is still just finding its place in cryptocurrency. Stop thinking that these things are going to hit $1 trillion market cap and get you rich in the next days. The bear market is coming. That $1 trillion market cap isn't going to happen. Even if we get an extended cycle, another 6 months or 8 months, it's not going to hit $1 trillion.
You're talking 150x from where we're at right now. It's at $674 million market cap. You're talking 150x from where we're at right now. That would have to, I mean, that would be not only impressive, but that would be downright disgusting, right?
I'm not saying it's impossible. It's not going to happen anytime now,
Yep.
anytime soon. It's definitely not going to happen before this cycle ends, and it probably won't even happen in the next cycle either. It takes a long time for these cryptocurrencies to build up to get there. I mean, Bitcoin's been the only one that's done it so far. Not even Ethereum is at $1 trillion yet.
I don't think people recognize sometimes two things. One, how much money $1 trillion really is. Okay, let's look at it this way. You guys would all agree, I'm sure, that $1 million is a lot of money. It is. It's a lot of money. Okay. Now, $1 billion is $1 million 1,000 times, right? So think about counting to 1,000. But if every single time you said a number, you were adding $1 million, that's $1 billion. Now take your billion once you counted that 1,000 and count 1,000 of those, and you're adding $1 billion, 1,000 millions every time. It is an absolutely mind-boggling number to get to. Now, Miguel, this one has specifically, you have my screen pulled up right now?
Yep.
Right here, 13 cents. That is what people love to see. They love to see a price that they can say, you know what? I can put X amount of dollars in this and I can hold a lot of it. They can say, yep, like with like the pump coins, for example. And I'm not saying this is an example of that. I'm just giving an example. People like to see these low prices because they can kind of puff their chest out a little bit and say, I own this much. And they can tell you how many they own, when at the end of the day, the question back should be, yeah, well, what's the circulating supply, right? Like, how much is out there?
We don't even know what the current circulating supply is. It has not even been reported.
Yeah. It's self-reporting 4.93 billion. But yes, I totally agree. So at any event, I do want to say this before we do the Bitcoin wrap up. These metaverse projects have what we call potential. But it is potential to make life-changing gains. Absolutely. Also potential that if you put a ton of money into one, for you to lose a ton of money. Any of these investments, you have to understand this. If you don't understand this with investing, you can lose as quick as you can win. And most likely you will lose money before you win. And here's why: because of a little thing called greed. We have this thing called emotions as humans. And when we start to build up price, when our accounts start to get bigger and bigger and bigger, guess what happens? It's not that most people are like, oh, okay, I'll take a little bit off the table. I'll take a little. Most people do not do that. Most people say, I wonder how big this thing can get. Let's see how far this can go. And then what happens is when the correction actually happens, a lot of times you can't get back in to actually sell out of the position. That's why we encourage taking profits on the way up. But hey,
I wouldn't be surprised if that question came up because somebody saw something related to that on TikTok, because the craziest things are seen on TikTok, right? Where somebody will, just for the views, will say, well, I have I have a secret crypto that can probably 150x from its current price because the technology that it has is revolutionary, world changing.
yeah,
You want to know what that is? And here why? Because they have this and they have that, and they're working with Sony, and they're gonna make the next Spider-Man movie,
yeah.
and they're gonna come out the movie and grab you and pull you inside. It's like, yeah, but those are all big what ifs, bro.
Yep.
That's not gonna
Yeah,
happen.
the other thing that you don't see is the email that just came into their inbox that says, "Hey, interested in a TikTok sponsored collab," right?
Yeah.
And you have no idea what they've just been paid for that. But at any event, we just want you guys to have your eyes open to the idea that you can lose it just as fast as you can gain it. But yes, metaverse is a big opportunity. Let's look at a little bit of a week, like kind of looking at it from the tail end here. Bitcoin's roller coaster, metaverse hype, and broader market concerns. This week's recap. It's been a very volatile week in cryptocurrency market. Despite the turbulence, some altcoins managed to hold their ground and even appreciated in value. But the same can't be said for Bitcoin. The primary cryptocurrency is down 4% on a weekly basis. But this comes after a week of serious volatility. On Monday, the price wicked from 57K up to 59, only to get rejected almost immediately and drop below 56K. From there, it started consolidating and appreciating, and it seemed that it was primed for another shot at 60K by Thursday. Today, however, the bears had a mind of their own and nuked Bitcoin from 59K to below
Quick,
54. Yeah, what's
quick
up?
pause. I
Yeah.
like how they use the word nuked. If something gets nuked, there is no survivability. It dies. So if Bitcoin got nuked right now below 59 and has still survived, we are saying that now Bitcoin is nuclear proof. I just want to point that out. A nuclear proof asset seems worth investing in.
I mean, nuclear proof is essentially what it's been. I mean, just saying, it's been pretty freaking impressive in the long term, year over year. It is a winner. So, this came amid a broader market pullback on renewed worries of a newly discovered variant of the word I can't say virus in South Africa. Altcoins also took a major blow today, but some of them managed to hold their ground on a weekly basis. ETH is up about 2%, BNB is up about 10%, Crow 41%, AVAX 10% gains. Metaverse coins are all the rage this week. This is obviously what we were just talking about. Sand leads the way with a 57% weekly increase, followed by Decentraland, which is Mana, 23%. It seems that this particular trend is only accelerating. Pause. Guys, you are going to continue to hear metaverse stuff. When Mark Zuckerberg comes out and says and shows and pushes money into and says, look, this is where things are headed. You hate him, love him, anywhere in between, it doesn't matter. That means and is saying that this is what is in the public eye right now. And the other part of this is a lot of people that aren't in the crypto space can grasp the idea of metaverse. You don't have to have this understanding of blockchain to think of the idea of another world where you have an avatar, and they don't have to understand crypto. So it introduces a lot of people into the space for that reason. I think that metaverse is going to be an important part of the broader cryptocurrency market continuing to grow. I think that the children that are being raised right now are totally, they're used to in-game currency. They are used to, I think they're called V-Bucks in Fortnite.
Fortnite.
Yeah, and it's the same type. It's literally just like that with cryptocurrencies being used in like V-Bucks is like mana in Decentraland. So people are used to that. So I think that that is going to help some with some of these transitions from people that don't know the crypto space at all to people that are going to get introduced to it as a result of the metaverse. I think it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I completely agree. It is going to be really interesting what they do with the metaverse.
The let's see here. Elsewhere, positive news of Bitcoin's adoption continues despite the red week. El Salvador publicly proclaimed that it fully intends to build a Bitcoin city. Moreover, it appears that large and long-term holders are, as we call them, hodlers, are taking this opportunity to accumulate additional BTC, turning this into somewhat of a buy the dip opportunity. Side note, it is a buy the dip opportunity in my estimation.
Black
Not,
Friday.
not financial advice. Yeah, I know, right? Institutional involvement also furthers as Morgan Stanley, the international banking behemoth, increased its BTC exposure considerably. In any case, it remains exciting to see how the market will shape up in the following days and if the correction will worsen or if we will finally get a recovery. Miguel, let me ask you this. Excuse me.
Yes.
What do you see through this weekend? Are we headed up? Are we headed down? Are we consolidating?
I think we're going to keep consolidating. We're what, 54 now? Maybe we'll go up a little bit, right? Maybe we'll go up to 56, maybe something like that.
Okay.
But I think we're just going to keep going sideways. I think something big is going to happen in the news in the next week or so or two for Bitcoin to have another little blast off moment and the rest of the markets.
Yeah, I think next week we could be in for a big move. I do think the next week could be really interesting and fun to watch. Plan B, November 98K Bitcoin target will probably be floor model's first miss. So this is just saying that the stock to flow Plan B admitted that worst case scenario in terms of BTC price might be proven wrong for the first time. His floor model sees Bitcoin trading at 98K by the end of November, which seems highly unlikely currently. Miguel, if that gets proved right, my gosh, have we made a huge move.
Dude,
that would be nuts.
I think I was talking about it in my TikTok live earlier today, but I believe that is done by market manipulators on purpose, right? He's been correct since August to predict the month close of every day of every month. So everyone was expecting this month, right? With along with what we're seeing in the TA from CVO, that 98K was very possible, or at least somewhere near that level, right?
Yeah.
And now market manipulators said we cannot allow this to happen. We need to push Bitcoin down, make sure that he gets an error, gets a miss on this one. Automatically, people have short-term memory. First of all, they don't even remember that he was right in August, September, October. They're going to see, wait a minute, he was wrong in November. His price prediction for December is about 135 for Bitcoin, 135,000. So that means people will not believe that will happen in December because their short-term memory says he was wrong in November. He forget about everything else he was right about. That's it. He's wrong. 135 December will definitely not happen.
Yeah.
And then that's when market manipulators are like,
Got
time to pump it up. They turn on the turbo, and then Bitcoin's rocket is like through the atmosphere.
I'm clipping that, by the way.
Through the atmosphere at like 20 G's, and then people are like, wait a minute, that's a massive green candle. Buy. Then they're buying it up, saying we're going to the moon. Bitcoin's getting extended. I'm gonna buy at 100 because we're going to 200. And then that's when market manipulators once again go, and then they just dump on everybody.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's really interesting how right Plan B has been, and I think this month was just a one-off. I guess we'll see at the end of the year how this ends up playing out. The next part was talking about the red hot metaverse space might soon reach $1 trillion market value. For whoever was asking about $1 trillion single asset, if this doesn't show you how large $1 trillion is, this is talking about the whole metaverse space may soon reach $1 trillion market value. We were talking about just one project that you were asking about, right? So $1 trillion. It says it will be in the not so far distant future. This comes amid a booming market for projects in the field. So I think that's going to be interesting. Bitcoin accumulation accelerates as whales buy, and this is important, as whales buy 0.29% of BTC's total supply in a week analysis. Listen, if these whales are buying, if they are buying, they are not buying to lose money, right? They ultimately are in it to win it. And, yeah, you can't tell if they're long-term, medium term, day trading, whatever. But the reality is they're a whale for a reason. And if they're buying for a reason. So I always try to keep that in the back of your mind.
We keep seeing this every single time. There's big dips in the market, just like we saw in May.
Yep.
Whales accumulate. Whales accumulate. We've been hearing and we've been seeing the on-chain metrics. Bitcoin is on a 3-year low. Bitcoin supply is at a 3-year low on exchanges, and yet
Yeah.
whales are still buying up more Bitcoin. It's probably because we're gonna dump down to like 15K or something next month. I'm sure that
It's
they're just gonna
probably nothing.
they're just throwing all their money away because they're tired of being rich and they want to live like us peasants out here.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. Same thing with ETH. Over 1 million ETH have been burned over a 3-month period after EIP 1559 was put into play. That's burnt over $4 billion, right, of ETH in fiat terms, right? It says Morgan Stanley increases their Bitcoin exposure, buys more grayscale BTC Trust shares, right? Ultimately, what are they doing? They're increasing their exposure to Bitcoin. Can't be, must be nothing though, right? And then El Salvador, to build a Bitcoin city, will buy $500 million worth more of Bitcoin. Just a few months after adopting as a legal tender, El Salvador plans to build Bitcoin City. Right, this is going to help with this is going to happen with the help of Blockstream and Bitfinex, while also planning to buy $500 million more of BTC. Right,
I'm
so
moving there.
so yeah, so we ultimately came on the live stream today to tell you that we're moving to El Salvador. Okay, so
To
we just
Bitcoin
wanted to
City
wish you
specifically.
well once we move to Bitcoin City. Okay, obviously you guys know I'm totally kidding, but guys,
Oh, you wouldn't be welcome there.
it has been. You said I wouldn't be welcome there.
Yeah,
Puedo hablar.
look at your
¿Por qué
hat,
no?
bro. Look at
¿Por
my
qué
hat.
no? ¿Por qué no?
Mira tu gorra y mira la mía. Es para los maxis
Yeah,
nada
yeah,
más,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
baby.
yeah, yeah.
Bitcoin.
Whatever,
It's
whatever,
not
whatever.
ETH
Miguel is
City. It's a
saying
Bitcoin
it's not
City.
ETH City. Talking about my hat. So, um, at the end of the day, let's say at the end of the week, right? We're at Friday. It feels like a Saturday. It just feels weird because of the holiday. But at the end of this week, you look back and it's been frustrating. We thought that we were going to be in a lot different place than we are now, but there is light on the horizon. And that light on the horizon is, I don't think we're in a bear market. I think we still have a lot. We've got a lot of room to run. I think that ultimately, if you have been able to hold on this long, I think you really need to be stepping on the gas as it relates to educating yourself so that you can make some really positive decisions on how you plan on entering/exiting this market as we get closer and closer to what ultimately is going to be the bear market. Ultimately, if you are looking for more help with that, we've got debatecrypto.academy. You can check us out there. That is the website, debatecrypto.academy. Again, just as a reminder for anybody that came in late, we're giving away $500. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel here. So we appreciate all of your support. Do we have anything else in
Yeah,
the
we do.
chat
So
before we bounce?
somebody asked, how much Bitcoin does it take to be a Bitcoin whale? I believe the
It's a
answer is
thousand.
1,000 Bitcoin.
It's 1,000.
One whole thousand Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So currently, El Salvador, with how much Bitcoin they have, they're not even considered a whale.
Yeah. And 1,000 Bitcoin right now is like $54 million. Just so you have kind of a
No,
graph
no, no,
on what
no,
that
no.
would be. What?
A
Dude,
thousand, a
are,
thousand.
are you are you arguing with
What was it
the
that you said? What was it that you said?
$54 million?
$54 million, and they're
Mhm.
buying. Well, then I take that my statement back. Then they are a whale because they're buying.
No, what I said was 1,000 Bitcoin right now is worth $54 million.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
El Salvador buying $500 million worth of
Oh
Bitcoin
yeah,
is
they're a whale.
well over a whale status.
Oh yeah,
They're in
yeah,
the
no doubt.
hump whale status.
So Blockchain Bailey just said something to keep in mind is the amount of institutional money in the space this cycle. They do not want to invest in volatile assets. I 100% disagree with you, unless you meant to say this differently, Blockchain Bailey. The institutional money has been here for a while. The amount that's there right now, sure, obviously we're getting more and more adoption. But here's what you do need to understand. They do want to invest in volatile assets. And let me tell you why. They ultimately make money on the volatility. Volatility, listen to this and listen to me well. Volatility is your friend, okay? And here's why. If you are able to, now think about this. If you had the right connections and had enough money to move the markets, you would want volatility, because volatility says I can buy down here, move it all the way to up here, sell, knock it back down to here, buy down here, move it all the way back up to up here, knock it back down, right? Like ultimately you get to play the game. So that's just, Blockchain Bailey, that's incorrect. Ultimately, it just is. The volatility is their friend. Now, putting something on their balance sheet, totally different story, right? When you look at what people are putting on their balance sheet right now, it's more geared towards Bitcoin. It's more geared towards ETH. ETH is just coming onto the scene for that, because long term, yes, you have to answer to your investors, right? And your investors say, wait a minute, I can't be seeing 50, 60% swings on your balance sheet. No, 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 no. So from that standpoint, yes, you are correct. But on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis, the volatility is not only the institution's friends, but it's your friend. Because if you know these markets well enough, and with a little luck, you can make more and more and more money from those price spreads and that volatility.
Yeah, I mean, look what Elon's done himself, right? He bought Bitcoin earlier this year on his balance sheets, and he's made more money off Bitcoin than he has selling cars.
Then he off of Tesla. Yep.
So, the volatility is why everyone is in crypto in the first place.
Yep.
Because unfortunately, being volatile means you can make a lot of money very quickly.
Yeah.
And these institutions are the ones that are getting in and out. They're not long-term hodlers. We are long-term hodlers.
Right.
They are get in, hold it for a few months, get out, get in, get out, making trades, swing trades left and right, making massive, massive amounts of money. Things that they cannot do in the regular stock market because they can't move it that way.
Yeah, Bailey just said I'm traditional finance background. Yeah, Bailey, listen, we are all about, we want everybody to be not only included but educated here, right? We could probably learn something from you from the traditional finance market, right? And so ultimately, we're glad that you're here. I hope you didn't take what I was saying as any disrespect. I was just saying, like, let's make sure that we're clear about this so that everybody can be, on the same page. What we have anything else, Miguel, on the let's see here. Just trying to take a look.
Blockchain Bailey also said it's interesting that we saw articles about the US and El Salvador relations shortly after Bitcoin City announcement. Yes, the US has been very salty since El Salvador eventually decided to, put Bitcoin as legal tender. The IMF, right? They're all been over El Salvador about you can't do this. There is you're this and that for whatever reason, X, Y, and Z, and making threats left and right. And El Salvador said, I don't care. I don't care. I'm doing what I want with my country, and I'm getting Bitcoin if I want to, whether you like it or not. And if you don't like it and you don't want to give us more dollars, that's fine. We don't need it. And they've obviously backed off. They're still in relations with El Salvador, but they always have these relation tension articles when El Salvador makes moves towards crypto. But realistically, El Salvador is being used as a blueprint, and many, many other small countries like El Salvador are watching, right? Brazil is making massive moves towards crypto already. They're a big nation. They're all watching El Salvador, taking the good and the bad, learning from their mistakes to make sure that they can have a quicker and easier transition into crypto. So no doubt about it, this is definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and speaking of keep an eye on, before we wrap things up, understand this, that when our news media is telling you to look over here, you should probably be looking over here. Okay, that's just a fact. And so a lot of times when we see these articles in the mainstream media, it is deflection, it is distraction. If you noticed, just this week, just in the regular news, not going to get all political, but if you notice what trial was in the mainstream news media was the Kyle Rittenhouse case, because it fit the narrative. Now, Ghislaine Maxwell, we've seen nothing but a sketch, right? And we have literally some of the highest power players in the world, and celebrities included, that are involved and being pointed out in this case, and you're not hearing anything about it. And so this blows over into crypto as well, is what I'm getting at, right? This is absolutely a power struggle between the common man, you, me,
aka the peasants.
Yep, the peasants, right? We are peasants, and our actual, what I view now as a tyrannical government, right? And so that power struggle is happening. So again, just pay close attention. That's read between the lines. This is why we are debate crypto. We want to debate the ideas that are set forth, because a lot of times they are not as it seems. Guys, it has been a freaking great stream. We appreciate every single one of you in the chat. As a reminder, we're giving away $500 2 days before Christmas. I almost said May. December 23rd, right? 2 days before Christmas. Christmas is not in May, okay? It is in December. December 23rd, we're giving away $500. All you have to do is be subscribed. If you haven't already, smash a like. We appreciate it. If nobody's told you before today, we love you. We care about you. And until next time, guys, hodl.